afternoon, Yeladim, and welcome back for more children's Torah stories. Do you remember what we learnt about last time? We had David, who was just a young teenager, coming to fight against the strongest, the mightiest, the scariest Goliath. But he believed that Hashem would help him, and Hashem did. He took his sling and he threw the stone and it bonked Goliath in the head. And that was how the Jewish people won that battle. And do you remember what King Shaul had said? King Shaul had said, the one who wins will get 3 special prizes. Number 1, a lot of money, always helpful. Number 2, marry the princess. Well, that's very good. And number 3, his family will not have to pay tax. Fantastic. Now, do you remember that Shaul also had a son who was a real hero? Shaul's son, Jonathan, was such a hero and a brave guy. Well, the question is, this guy's going to be Jonathan for now. The question is Jonathan and David going to become friends, or are they going to be enemies? Because if King Shaul stayed the king, then Jonathan could be the next king, because he was the prince, he was the king's oldest son. But since King Shaul is not going to stay the king anymore, Jonathan is not going to be the king, and maybe someone else will instead. So what do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you think David and Jonathan will be friends. And give me a thumbs down if you think they will be enemies. Okay, wow. Good thinking, all of you. I am very happy to tell you that not only do they become friends, they become the bestest best friends in the whole world. Oh, we are such good friends. We love each other so much. We will always help each other. And so, even though Jonathan was the prince and David was the one who people were saying, maybe he should be our next king, still they were best of friends. And in fact, Jonathan even said to David, I will give you some special presents. Because David wasn't a rich guy. David was actually quite poor. But Jonathan was the prince, so he had all kinds of beautiful, amazing things. So Jonathan said, David, I'm going to give you some beautiful clothes to wear. Thank you. I'm going to give you a sword. Thank you. I'm going to give you a bow and arrows. Thank you. I'm going to give you a belt. Thank you. So he gave David all the beautiful clothes that David had. That's how good friends they were, that they were taking care of each other and helping each other. And because David had done so amazingly, and even when he was a young teenager, he had beaten Goliath, the strongest fighter in the whole world. Well, soon after that, King Shaul said, David, I am making you one of the bosses of my army. Not the main boss of his army. We'll meet the main boss of his army later on. He's a guy called Avner. But one of the bosses of the army. Everybody, you must follow David and do what he says. Okay, King Shaul, we will. David, where are we going to next? Let's go fight some Plishtim! Yay! And off they went, fighting against the Plishtim. And here's all the Plishtim soldiers. And the Jewish people come, "Rah, we're fighting, fight. Ha, I am David, I will fight you. David, run away." And David, everybody knew that David was the best because he had even defeated Goliath. And when all the people came home, then the Jewish ladies started singing, King Shaul is a hero, King Shaul is great, but the very greatest hero is David. Oh, David, Shaul might chase 1,000 Plishtim away, but it's David who's going to save the day. David will chase 10,000 Plishtim. He's the strongest whoever there was. Shaul is okay. Shaul's pretty good. But David is the best. And we think he's fantastic. That was the song they used to sing. And David would say, oh, stop it, guys. You're making me blush when you say such nice things about me. But when King Shaul heard this, he was not happy. He was not happy at all. Why are they saying those things? I'm supposed to be a real hero. I'm the one who was the first king to save the Jewish people. And now they're only saying I can chase away 1,000 Plishtim and David can chase away 10,000, and they're saying that David's better than me. Well, Yeladim, I think you can see that King Shaul has changed. From the beginning, he was so humble and he was so sweet, and he even went to hide by the bags when they were saying that he's the new king. He went to hide away by the bags because he didn't want to come out. But now, King Shaul has a different attitude. And he's saying, oh, it's so unfair that they say David is better than me. When he should have said, it's okay if David is a better fighter than me. Different people are better at different things. It's not a problem. But remember, Shaul had the sickness. And on different days, he would get sad or angry or things like that. And especially after people started singing songs, David is so great, David is the best, King Shaul started getting crosser and crosser, more cross, with David. And when David would come to see him, good morning, King Shaul, he would get a little bit cross every time that he would see David. And in fact, it started getting even worse. So one day when King Shaul was feeling sick and sad and angry, quick, go call David so that he can play his harp for Shaul. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, da-ta-na-na, da-ta-na-na. Just hold on a second there, David. I'm just going to get a spear. King Shaul, why are you going to get a spear? Don't worry about it. Just keep playing your music. Okay. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Da-da-na-na. Yeah! And he came running at David with a spear. Rah! And he threw the spear at David. And David jumped out the way. And he threw another spear at David. And David jumped out the way. And David said, uh-oh, I'd better get out of here. King Shaul's trying to throw a spear at me. Come back. Well, I think you can see, Yeladim, even though the puppet still has a smile on its face, because that's how it is, King Shaul did not have a smile on his face anymore. He was trying to throw spears at David. What kind of crazy stuff is that, King Shaul? Well, that is what he was doing. And King Shaul started getting scared of David because he said, Hashem is always helping David. Hashem helped David fight Goliath, and Hashem is helping David now fight the Plishtim. Maybe that means that Hashem wants David to become the king instead of me. Tell me, Eladim, is that what it means? Doesn't mean that Hashem wants David to be the king instead of Shaul. It actually does. Shaul was right. Hashem wanted David to be the king instead. And Shaul should have learned to say, that's okay. I had my chance to be the king. Some things I did well, some things I did not so well. But Hashem now wants someone else to be the king. And that's okay. But that isn't how Shaul was feeling. He got crosser and crosser. He got angrier and angrier. And he thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I am going to make David in charge of 1,000 soldiers. Well, that sounds very good. But I will make David go in front. And so every time he fights with the Plishtim, David will be in danger that maybe the Plishtim will hurt him or chase him away. What do you think about that, Yeladim? Good idea or bad idea? No, that's a bad idea. King Shaul, please, King Shaul, be nice to David. He's good and he cares about you. He's not trying to do anything bad. No, I will put him in charge of 1,000 soldiers and make him in the front so that maybe the Plishtim will get him. Well, the other thing, remember that one of the special things for David is that whoever managed to chase away Goliath could marry the princess. Well, King Shaul did have a few different daughters, so there was more than one princess. But the oldest princess, his oldest daughter, was a lady named Meirav. Hello, Yeladim. I am Meirav. Hi, Meirav. How are you doing? Very well, thank you. And that is what David said. That's what Shaul said. David, you can marry Meirav. And David said, but Shaul, I'm just a normal poor guy. How could I marry the princess? And King Shaul said, okay, Meirav will marry someone else. Meirav, why don't you go marry Adriel? Okay, Dad, bye. But Shaul said she would marry David. Anyway, he tricked David, but he had another daughter as well. And her name was Michal. And do you know who Michal's favorite person was in the whole world? Do you know who Michal loved so much? David. Michal really loved David. She thought David was the best. When David would walk past in the street, she would say to her friend, oh, that's David. He's so handsome. He's so brave. He's so wonderful. He always believes in Hashem. Oh, I hope one day I could talk to him. Well, if you love David so much, why don't you marry him? Oh, I would love to marry him. I think he's amazing. I hope my dad says I can marry him. Well, King Shaul heard about this. My daughter Michal loves David. I can see an opportunity now. David, come again. Yes, King Shaul. David, remember I said you should marry the princess. Yes. And I said marry Meirav. Yes. And I said I'm just a poor man. How could I marry the princess? Well, why don't you marry Michal? But she's also a princess. I'm still just a poor man. I have a good idea. If you can chase away 100 Plishtim by yourself, then you can marry Michal. And then you won't just be a poor man, you will be a hero of the Jewish people for chasing away 100 Plishtim. Okay, I will do that. That sounds like a great idea. Because then I won't just be a poor man who can marry the princess. Then I'll be a real hero. Okay, I'll go fight 100 Plishtim by myself. Bye! My plan is working. Because now he's going to go and fight against 100 Plishtim. And you know what's going to happen? They are going to beat him. No one can fight 100 Plishtim by themselves. So when the Plishtim beat David, he will be out of my way forever. Well, off goes David. Off I go to fight some Plishtim. Plishtim, you want to fight? Yes. Bunk. Ah! Off I go to fight more Plishtim. I'm a Plishtim. I'm going to fight you. Great. Bunk. Ah! Guess how many times that happened, Yeladim? Bunk, 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 bunk. Knocking out the Plishtim left and right, bumping them on the head. David fought 200 Plishtim all by himself. This guy is such a hero, it's amazing. Hooray! Now I can marry Princess Michal. So he got back home. King Shaul, I've got good news. I did chase away 100 Plishtim, and then I chased away another 100 Plishtim. What? What? You chased them all away? They didn't chase you away. Ah, darn it. I mean, hooray. That's so happy. I'm so glad. Okay, well, I guess you guys had better get married. Siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu. Oh, mwah, mwah, mwah. Now they are married. But Shaul said, now I'm gonna think of a new way to get rid of David. Ha 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 ha! I've got a new idea. This one will definitely work. Yeladim, do you want to hear what his new idea is? I'll tell you tomorrow. Bye!